Hi guys, my name is Abigail Swihart Valentine. Some of you know me as just Abigail Swihart. I wanted to jump on here as my first podcast episode to talk a little to you about myself, get on here and kind of give you a little bit of backstory about myself. I had thought about a podcast for a long time. And most of the time, I feel like real estate investing podcasts feel a little bit different than how my journey started and how I created my rental portfolio. So, I think that it was important that I got on here and talked about a little bit where I came from, how I got started. If you would have told me a few years ago I'd be buying real estate and teaching other women how to do it too, I would have laughed at you. Like, straight up, wouldn't believe you. But this podcast started because I was tired of seeing advice online from people that don't relate to me. And I just think there's so many young women and men, we don't discriminate here, that maybe don't relate to the type of real estate investing that is stereotypically seen online. And, I wanted to go through with you kind of where my journey started, my career, where I am at my life now, but also kind of the turning point of what created this for me. So I am 33 years old as of a week ago, and I started investing in real estate at the age of 20. Um, my father was a professor at Ohio State, and my mom owned a business. So I wasn't taught a lot of real estate growing up. My father did invest in real estate a long time ago, and I don't it's a story for another time, but he had sold all of his rentals and real estate before having me and my little sister Casey. So I wasn't really brought up around real estate at all. I was brought up around business, and I had a math professor of a father. So, kind of education background, normal middle to lower income family in Ohio. Um, we experienced a lot of ebb and flows with the economy and with the recession. So I've kind of been through a lot of the ups and downs and turbulence that the economy, has effect on our families. So I definitely feel that and can relate with people about that. But I really started in real estate when I was in college. I was a junior in college, and I, started looking for jobs and kind of looking for different jobs, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I was a communications major. I'm going to be very frank. I was not very smart. No, I am very smart. I was not very good at school. I wasn't good at showing up. I wasn't very motivated. I just wanted my degree and I wanted to get out. I wanted to own a business, start a business. I always thought I'd own or be a CEO or an entrepreneur. I knew that was always a destiny for me. So, like I said, I was kind of my junior year starting to search for jobs. I was working at Apple. That is where I met all my best friends are Apple coworkers and Ohio State graduates. So I feel like that really kind of gave me a really good sense of customer service and talking to people, learning how to deal with all sorts of people, different situations, and really helped me hone in on my communication skills. And while I was working at Apple, a gentleman walked in, and his name is Don Kenny, and it's Donald R. Kenny. And this name, I remember growing up around my household, I remembered my dad worked with a gentleman named Donald R. Kenny, and they would get lunch every once in a while. They were good friends. Come to find out that Don was the one that sold my dad investment real estate back in the day. And he and I started talking. He had never met me before. He was at my parents' wedding. He knew me and my little sister existed, but it was kind of a friendship that just was between my dad and him. So we got to talking, and he needed help with the Bluetooth on his Mercedes and his iPhone, which I remember so vividly. And I thought to myself, oh, he has a Mercedes and he's in a suit. He must be pretty successful. And I grew up with Astro minivans, so I was like, I want to be like this guy. So you start talking to him, and it ends up that his assistant called my dad And, Don took an interest in me thinking, you're a smart person, you're a talented person. He kind of instilled some faith in me that I was special in a way that I saw something and I'd go and if I wanted it, I'd figure it out. And I always kind of had that go-getter attitude. And I think I got it from my mom because she is a business owner. And my dad really instilled in me perseverance. So that's something I was always good at. If I figured it out and, I would run with it. And I had all sorts of businesses growing up. So I get to meet Don in person, and he offers me a job at his real estate development company. And for those who are wondering, it was sub-metering and, utilities that I worked in marketing. I was a director of marketing there, and I learned a lot. But what I actually really liked working at Don's company because I was around multifamily development and a commercial brokerage and all these really intelligent people that understood real estate very well. And though I worked for his utility sector, I feel like being around that, made me realize that if I wanted to achieve the things I wanted to do in life, I needed to own real estate. I was always around my father, who was a big believer in investments. When he taught at Ohio State, he was teaching math, but later in life, he taught at a college called Franklin University, and he taught finance courses, and he was very into the stock market and investments, and that was something me and my little sister were it was drilled into our brains as young girls that you invest, and every dollar you have is a little army figure in your army, and you want a big army so you can do different things in life. And that's what Bob Swihart taught me and my little sister. So I thought about that and I was like, well, I really need to get into real estate investments. That is what this guy does. If I want to be like this guy, this is what I do. And it was as simple as that. So I worked for him for 4 years, and it was in that time that I bought my first house. I bought my first house at the age of 20, which is very young. I understand that's not always feasible, but I did it. I bought kind of an estate type home with an older couple that had moved out. And then I had my 2 best friends live with me, Jenna and Brittany. We split the mortgage 3 ways, like down 33.333% each. Like there was no, because I felt my benefit was the equity and the appreciation. And their benefit is we all get to live in a very nice town called Worthington, Ohio. It's very nice, for $450 a month each. And we were young college, I think Brittany had graduated. I was graduating soon. Jenna graduated. Young college girls that, needed an affordable place to live while we were kind of growing our career. So I did that. And this is all while I was working my W-2 job. So I think that a lot of the women that I coach, are in a W-2 position and have the ability to do this. And that's kind of why I was able to get a conventional loan, split it with my girlfriends. It was awesome. So I did that. And like I mentioned, it was an estate style home. I fixed up the house. So every commission check on my energy sales that I did for Dawn, I would update different parts of the home. So I got the basement finished to add square footage. I got the fencing done. I did a kitchen remodel. I did a bathroom remodel. I had upgraded, the HVAC system. The roof was pretty good, so I didn't have to do anything there. And we all lived in that house for like 5 years. And it was honestly, well, it was more than 5 years. It was 6 years. It was like the best time in my life. Like if I could give any advice to a young woman that has a W-2 job, graduating college, that doesn't have a lot of debt, and if you can do it, please house hack. And that's what a house hack is. It's you're buying your home, you live in it, and you rent out the rooms. Living with my best friends for around 5 years, each of us, it was so much fun. We watched CSI Miami and SVU and all the different TV shows, Game of Thrones. We had Game of Thrones premiere parties. It was just so much fun, and I look back on those days so fondly. And what happened was, I kind of bought that first investment, and I really thought of it as an investment. I kind of thought, okay, what next? How do I, move on next? And it was there I took equity, moved it around, and bought my first rental. And then my first rental turned into two more rentals, and those two rentals and that first rental kind of turned into other things. And I'll get to more of that later. But that is how I got started in my real estate career. Was just I got lucky. Fate happened, and my future mentor walked into the Apple store that day, and we had a, kind of unknowingly, he didn't realize that my dad was, my dad at the time. So it just worked out. And I think that was like the biggest turning point in my life. And I kind of, hope maybe I can pop up on someone's newsfeed, or I get sent to someone, and I can be the turning point for, your life. Because honestly, the other part of the reason I wanted to make this podcast is I think that women are so, and I'm generalizing, so I just think that as young women, we are so conditioned to want things and items and clothes and new makeup, and like I love all those things. If you know me personally, you know that I love Sephora and Ulta. I love going shopping. I love to go to Nordstrom. I love fancy lunches. I love all those things. Pilates. I do. I really do like the finer things in life, and that's gotten me in trouble a couple of times. But I think that it's hard to do that when you're not given much. I wasn't a Nepo baby. I witnessed the recession. My first car was a bright blue 1995 Astrovan with my parents' business logo on the back of it. So when you're not really given much to start in life, it's important that you take the education that is available to you, which we are in the most beautiful time in the entire world to learn things. So I think that when you're not given a lot in life, it's your job to take what you know or don't know, and you kind of run with it, and you create that path for yourself. And my father's no longer with us, but one of the things he would say is, don't buy the convertible now, don't buy this now, don't buy this now. And then he would say, buy the Porsche later, buy the X car later, buy this type of house later, save your money now. And I think that, like I said, we're all just so conditioned to want these little things and these micro purchases. If I had someone like my dad telling me that savings and different strategies to savings to buy something bigger that is going to make money for itself has given me the opportunity to live a life I never thought I would. And do I think I've made it in life? No. I mean, you're still catching me at my journey at 33 years old. Nothing crazy, but if I could give you those tools to create large change, that would make me so happy. So I felt every doubt and challenge along the way. I have had to make larger down payments. I've had to pivot strategies. I've failed a lot. I've faced a lot of adversity. I've had a lot of mean things said about me. And I've had to develop a thicker skin over the years and learn different tools. And if I can help someone else do that, then that's what I want to do. So I'm just looking at my notes here. So my mission, I really want to help women build wealth and not just hustle, not just live a W-2 life where you're doing that and your 401k matching. Like, those things are all so important. And I'm not a CPA. I am not a financial advisor. I'm just Abbey. You're coming to me for info like a girlfriend, and what you do with it, you take it, you research your own state laws, you research everything on your own, you get financial and legal guidance from professionals. But I want to create an avenue of conversation that would create an opportunity for you to not feel like you just have to hustle your whole life, and create avenues and mindset shifts where you can learn to do things with your money for the money working for itself, and looking down the road of being like, okay, I've got options here. So we're going to cover real estate, mindset, investing, lifestyle, my community that I'm around. And I hope you guys gain some clarity with real estate investing, confidence, how to get your first real estate cash flowing door, first unit. I think that would be so exciting if some of you guys end up buying your first rental property because of this podcast. And then what's to come, I'm just going to be bringing on more and more topics of real estate investing. I have so many ideas. I have wonderful women that I've already helped with their real estate journeys on here, building their portfolios from scratch. So that's very exciting. And if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram. You can follow me on YouTube. Give it a follow, give it a share. Send me a DM on Instagram and tell me what you guys would love to see or listen to. I think that would be really helpful because right now I'm kind of shooting blind. So, okay, well, I hope everyone has an amazing day, and I'll talk to you soon.